Hello viewers, welcome to what would have been Stock Car Challenge number 8. It kind of is, you think of it as Stock Car Challenge number 8 if you like, but I thought it deserved its own video separate from the challenge. So I'm driving the Porsche Macan Turbo in C-Class 461 rated, sorry. So not too bad. As we go into the first turn and straight off of the turn at Catalunya, short circuit. One of the worst corners in the game, I think. Honestly, that first corner there never fails to be a pile-up on that first turn. So, this car, the Porsche Macan Turbo, is actually pretty decent in a straight line. It has 7 rated acceleration, which is pretty high for C-Class. And couple that with the fact that it's quite heavy, of course, and you've got yourself a very stable and fast car in a line. So that just leaves braking and turning. That's where my driver ability comes in, I would hope. And hopefully we can try and beat as many of these noobs as possible to the finish line. So we're in 4th at the moment, managing to get through most of the carnage of the first couple of turns. Of course I did get tapped off, but we got through that okay. Up the inside of this guy, and he's just going to turn in anyway and cause a bit of an incident there. I'm not sure what view point he was using. Maybe he was using cockpit and just could not see me at all. But I was there. He's turned in, but I'm through into the podium positions in 3rd place. Can we keep 3rd place for another 3 laps? We're going to look behind here and we're going to see that they are queuing up. They are very eager to come past this Starbucks Porsche Macan here. They are absolutely getting trolled right now by this SUV. They should not be losing to this. As I go into the first turn, I've gone a little bit deep. Another guy's gone way too deep as well. He's gone way too deep. I come back onto the track. I've only lost 1 position to the Alfa Giulia. So that has actually not turned out to be too bad. So we can try and continue here and see what we can get. We've got a guy right in our tail here. But we can use the acceleration of the Porsche up the hill to try and build the gap ever so slightly. Turning in is really stable. This car is actually really quite good. And I would actually like to see just how good it would be if I tuned it up fully to the top of C-Class, perhaps even the classes above, B-Class or A. You just never know how good it will be. It might actually be really good. Feels good out of the turns. It feels very stable, the weight pushing the car down into the ground, and then you've got the big powerful engine thrusting you along towards 3rd place at the moment, trying to chase down this very light and nimble Alfa Giulia. Couldn't be 2 more different kind of cars here fighting for 3rd place. We are on different ends of the spectrum. As we come into the chicane, we are nearly halfway through the race and I'm just trying to nail that chicane. Have done quite nicely there. Those curbs on that chicane really quite nasty, but again the weight of the car really does help. It's a good combination having weight and acceleration. A heavy car isn't always a bad thing because it can help you with handling. It makes it a little bit stiffer and easier to control. So moving ahead to the end of lap 3. Lap 3 there, nothing really happened, but then at the end of the lap here, the Alfa gets really poor drive and I have to look sideways because the car is so small that I couldn't actually see it over the top of my very tall car. Go past him into 3rd. I'm not going to make the same mistake of going too long into turn 1. And I've got a bit of lock up on the inside wheels there, but we are through. We've got someone waiting for us here. Is he going to ram us off? We're going to come through. No, he's just going to leave us. Thank God for that. Well, actually, is he following us now? He's following us now. That is ominous. That is very ominous indeed. As we come up, we're going to come up into a hairpin in just a moment. He might not brake and accidentally go into me. And we'll call it accidentally, but we'll see in just a moment. So coming through that chicane, I've actually got a bit of a gap now. So I don't think he's actually close enough to go for the full-on ram. And I'm through, looking behind, scanning behind for that 350Z, which I called a 370Z in the previous video. Yes, I am aware of that. But coming through into the final sector of the Barcelona circuit, it looks like we can get a 3rd place here. Depends how good that car is through the chicane section. My car is pretty decent actually, and I can just hold station, pretty much block half the road because of how big this car is. There we go, through the chicane. I am good. I am good to go through the final turn. I'm going to finish 3rd in the very first race in this car. Kind of just shows how good this car is. I'm going to move across, go for a bit of a Nice spin over the line. But yeah, there you go. 3rd place in the first race of this car. Shows just how good it is. Really easy to control because of the weight. The power as well really does help. But then here are the results. There they are. Not really anywhere close to the top 2. But 3rd place out of 12. I'll take that any day. And then we move on to one of our favourite carnage circuits of all time, Rio. And look at the launch of this thing. It is quick off the line, I can tell you that. Straight into 1st place from 3rd. We've got the Acura or the Honda or something. We've got a car on our outside, basically, wherever it is. Probably get it wrong, so I won't commit to saying a name. And he's gone straight on. He's into the tyres, and I'm back into 1st. Thank you very much. I haven't been collected from behind, which is probably a 1% chance of that happening, but it has happened this time. And I'm through, and I'm away. Let's go. Get our head down and try to build the gap away from 2nd place in that tiny little car there behind us. So into this turn, very tricky to get right. Over the curb, this car just monsters the curbs like they're not even there. And they are fighting back there. That is going to help me get away from the pack. All I can do now is just concentrate on my corners. Try to make sure I just maximise my speed, basically. There's no point in looking behind too much. Just build that gap as much as possible, although they are gaining ever so slightly now. And through the first turn, very long turn. This is probably the main downside of this car. It doesn't have very good long turn ability, such as that turn there. And into the 2nd corner. I'm just going to get totally obliterated for no reason. And we're going to take a quick look at the replay there. So here I am, going to the 1st turn, minding my own business. And bang, there we go. We're just going to get totally smashed for no reason at all by that blue car there. So we're going to take a quick look from his perspective. How did that happen? Well, we're going to see right now. 100% throttle and 100% throttle. Yeah, that's a new way of taking that turn, apparently. Just go in with 100% throttle and ram into the guy ahead, and you'll get around that way instead. He's actually got past me in that way. Now, here's the really weird thing. This guy, just before the race, said, "Is this the real Super GT?" when I was in the lobby. I said yes. He goes, "Oh, I love your videos, really cool." So, okay, that's cool. And then he just goes and rams me. It's really baffled me that he likes my videos and then would just proceed to smash me off. That'll be like meeting my idol and then just punching him in the face about 2 seconds later. But then anyway, we're going to move on here. And we're going to try and defend against this guy going up behind. I'm going to go around this guy. No, he's just going to try and block me off completely. Going left on a right-hander. I'm going to go through past him into 4th. Oh, well, I was 4th, but we lost that other position there to the other guy. And through this narrow section, oh my god, they collected each other. And I'm just bulldozing him out of the way. That is the advantage of having a big car, I guess. You can just bulldoze everyone out of the way. When it comes to it, of course. Not when you go into 1st turn and just do it deliberately. Of course. So coming through the 1st turn, that 5, I'm just going to get collected. This guy just waiting for me. And he's going to ram me off. Thank you very much for that. I'm going to lose a couple of positions. Just why do that? I mean, it doesn't really bother me. If I finish 5th or finish 3rd, doesn't really matter. I guess that's how he gets his kicks. And then this guy is just going to spin out, and I'm going to go back into 4th. And we're going to finish 4th. Not bad. One less position than the previous race. That's about the best I could have finished in this race, I think. This track not really suited to this car, but then again, which track is in the end. So there we go, over the line with a little bit of a drift. We have finished 4th. Not too bad if you ask me, given that I got smashed about a couple of times as well. Could have done not much better than that. So we move to another of our favourites, Marina, going into the 1st turn. This Celica is going very slowly. That guy gets completely punted from behind. And we're going into the 1st turn. What do we have in store? Oh yeah, getting ran from behind, of course. That's of course what we have in store. But then I amazingly managed to get out of that in 4th position. So we're going to reverse that here and see what went on once again. So here's a replay from my view. But we're going to go into telemetry viewpoint here. So there is a contact on the right-hand side. We're going to have a quick look at that in just a moment. So he just gets smashed off completely. And then what is going to happen here? Let's have a look from behind. We've got a Toyota Supra behind. Celica on our right. He gets forced over onto me. Supra just comes out of nowhere. Doesn't brake. I've done a nice drift through there. Make contact with that guy again. And then I use the front wheel drive power to hook myself around and get going again. But then, this is the view from the Supra. Just he had ages to react. And just didn't react. Didn't brake at all. There was no brake. There was like no brake pressure there at all. Just went completely straight on. And got out of it. In the end, I was still ahead though. So this is the view from the guy behind. Let's see what he does. So off the line. Okay, fine so far, fine so far. And then just goes into the back of the guy ahead. Again, you had so long to react. You could have gone either side in plenty of time. Go to the right hand side. I'm thinking here, go to the right, there's space there. But no, just goes straight into the back of him. So yeah, there's plenty of space on the right hand side. But no, just chooses to go straight into the back of him. Poor guy just gets wiped out. And then comes across here. There's plenty of space on the right hand side. There's no need to be coming across the left hand side here. Very poor driving, if you ask me. Just forcing everyone narrow causes all of this, along with the Supra as well. And then about 6 people turn out to be victims of that. He actually turns out to be the worst one in the end, so he actually ruined it for himself, and even the guy he rammed off comes back past him. So, moving ahead then, back to the race. Here we are in 4th. It's the short version here, so we're not going to go on to the right, we're going to go left here. Now I heard tyres screeching, and I just have to back out of that move and let that Celica go, and he's just going to cut the corner here. Now, this is kind of like what happened in Barcelona in the Formula 1 race, where Ricciardo was trying to come past Vettel. So Ricciardo just went for a crazy lunge, and if Vettel doesn't move out of the way, they're just going to have a big accident. That's kind of what that was there. If I didn't notice him coming, then that was just going to be a big crash. And he's just very lucky that I was, aware of the situation and actually managed to dive out of the way. But coming into the chicane here, he's just going to clatter into the wall. So he's actually trying to cut the corner too much, and that has not paid off for him. And his corner cutting technique needs some working there. So the end of lap number 1, moving on to lap number 2. It was a fairly solid race in the end. First 3 managed to get away quite convincingly. Was nowhere near able to keep up with them. So 4th place or 3rd place seems to be about right for this car in a lobby. Perhaps I could break into the podium whenever the people ahead have accidents. Of course it depends on who's in the lobby as well. You get some lobbies with really good people in, you're not going to do as well. But then towards the end of the lap, still the same situation. Top 3 are gone by quite a long distance. I just think that you can see here I'm just taking the corners nice and casually, not cutting them at all. And then there's people behind me smashing into each other, ramming each other, cutting all the corners, and that they still finish behind. That just shows you really how bad they are. And then the Supra here just tries to block me off. I do lose a position to that Celica as he goes back past. Unfortunately, the guy who cut the corners earlier. But then over the line in 5th. Could have been better, could have been worse. But in the end, I'm not going to lose sleep over that. But here's a replay. Look at that. He just goes for a stupid lunge over the tarmac, the excess tarmac, over the grass again. And then a little bit further forwards, we are going to skip to in just a moment. Here we go. And into this chicane. Just gets it a little bit too wrong. If you're going to cut the corners, you cut that first one. You don't go too fast into that one. Cut the second one a lot better. He just tries to get a little bit too greedy, and then he loses out, unfortunately for him. But then he kind of deserves it. Look at that. Everyone cutting the corner, and they all finish behind me. Just shows you. But yeah, that is going to be the end of the video, guys. Let me know your thoughts as always. Subscribe if you'd like to see more of the same. Hit that like button. This is the Porsche Macan Turbo. Give it a try. It's actually a decent car. That's all from me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.